Doug Upstone here for Vegas Pro Insiders Daily, and today is October the 11th. We will have a couple of baseball games later on today, so that'll be exciting. Plus, we'll end up having a college football game tomorrow that has a line move. So yes, we will have a free pick for you on these games. Plus, what we're going to do is look at the offerings in the NFL in terms of line moves and the betting trends to this point of the week. See where things are situated at, and we'll have a little fun with that. Hey, speaking of fun, right now Vegas Pro Insiders Daily members are having some fun with yours truly. 6-1 recently in the NFL, and starting to percolate a little bit more here in college football. So got some good things going as we enter basically the halfway point of the college football season and continue to move along with the NFL, and obviously hockey started. And so I have a ton of information there. You can become a member for just $39.99 a month. That's it. You're going to get all kinds of great information besides just picks. For example, this changes every year and stuff, but teams that have that have given up 40 or more points in the NFL this year are 6-0 against the spread if they play the following week. And this particular week, that would happen to be the Houston Texans. So keep that in mind. And that's the type of information that you're going to get by becoming a Vegas Pro Insider Daily member. Not just my picks, okay? I say, hey, I'm starting to go well here, but that's just not what it's all about, because I know you bet other games besides whatever you would happen to purchase, and that's the information that we want to give you to help you be in the best position to win. So, hey, enough about that. Let's get to some NFL betting trends that are occurring. And we're going to start off with Cleveland and Houston. Mentioned the Texans. The total on this one has gone from 44 all the way up to 47. Now, both teams are not very good defensively. Cleveland's at 24.8 points per game allowed, and Houston's even worse at 26. And they're going to have two of their best defensive players out, not only for this game, but for the rest of the season in all likelihood for the Texans. So I can see, the logic behind that. Deshaun Watson has been absolutely fantastic at quarterback. Last week, 5 touchdowns. He looks like the real deal. I think their quarterback woes are over. So from that standpoint, I think the Houston offense will score. The wild card in this one, though, is the Cleveland offense, which is at just 15.4 points per game. 97% of bettors right now are on the over in this one. Next up, we got Miami Dolphins at Atlanta, and boy, we have seen a big move here. Miami has gone from plus 10 to plus 12 against the Falcons. Now, in this one, Jay Cutler is not exactly getting the job done as a starting quarterback for the Miami Dolphins, as his team is averaging 10.3 points per game, and they're going to go up against a hot Atlanta offense, which particularly at home, this team usually gets off to fast starts, plays really well. They're going to come off a bye, so they should be ready to go. So completely understand the logic of that spread going higher. Here's the thing, though, that you have to at least keep in mind, okay, before making a selection. Miami is a sneaky good 27-14-2 against the spread as a non-division road underdog going back to 2007. Ooh, didn't know that one, did you? So that's something you have to ponder before making a selection. The Detroit Lions are venturing to the Bayou and going to take on New Orleans. Now, Matthew Stafford to this point in the season has not been bad, okay, but he hasn't been as good as he was last year either. So from that standpoint, a little curious about Detroit, and Drew Brees has started to figure out exactly what he has offensively with his different weapons. Some guys left from last year and some other changes were made, but he's starting to round into form, and they've had another week of practice to try and figure that out. And their defense, particularly the last 2 weeks, and as I had thought they were going to be to start the season, has been particularly impressive. So that seems to all come together, and the Saints have gone from -3 to -4.5, and I'm even seeing a couple of -5s. My initial thought was the line on this would come back, but now that it's gotten to 5, I'm not so sure. So yeah, it might stick around in that range. 63% though of bettors are actually taking Detroit at this point. The Rams are at Jacksonville. Now, I don't know the answer to this, but I can tell you this. It's been a while since this has happened. This game opened up as a pick, And Jacksonville is being supported by the betting public all the way to -2.5. Wow, the Jaguars. I mean, you have to go back to David Garrard as quarterback since the last time since that would have even been probably a possibility. So that's a huge shift. But bettors are impressed with what they're doing. They spanked Pittsburgh last week, and they had some good outings. They've had some bad ones, like the Jets loss, for example. That was nasty. Now the Rams got shut down somewhat last week, and Jacksonville, at least in theory, has the type of defense that could do the same thing to them again. So that's why the total also, I think, has taken a dip from 44 down to 42.5 on this one. We'll have to see. Jacksonville, though, when the line is 3 to 3.5, they're 14-5 over. Interesting, huh? 52% of the people are on LA in terms of tickets written, and 59% are on the under. Tampa Bay is heading out to the desert, out where I'm at, for a Sunday afternoon game against the Arizona Cardinals. Now, the Cardinals, they signed another elderly player in Adrian Peterson this week because the running game without David Johnson is going absolutely nowhere. And even though Peterson certainly is on the downside of his career, I can't disagree. He's not better than what they had because Chris Johnson gave them nothing and they don't have anything else. Bettors, though, are looking at the geriatric key players that the Cardinals have and prefer the young guns from Tampa Bay. And the Bucs have gone from a pick to -2. It doesn't help, though, Arizona's cause that they're only 6-15 against the spread the last couple of years. So that's another thing that you have to put in the old noggin here, see what you can come up with in terms of a selection here. I'll have mine on Saturday on this game. 71% are on Tampa Bay. Sunday Night Football, the New York Football Giants. Tough situation here. They opened at +10, and immediately went to +12. And boy, there's a million reasons as to why. Let's start with the fact they have no running game. Their key wide receiver, well, not key, their main wide receivers are either injured and out for the season, like Beckham, or they just have some other guys that are banged up, and you have a 37-year-old quarterback who's on the downside of his career. Boy, that's just nothing but positives. And you get to play Denver's defense on the road. Ooh, boy, that's tempting. Though, these big spreads, and there's several of them this week, they're all tricky. In the NFL, anything over 7, that's not an easy thing to have to beat if you're playing favorites. But yet you look at these underdogs, including the Giants here. Good luck on trying to make a case for that. One thing, though, that at 12, the total's only at 39.5. That's just not a big window, okay, to fit in a score. To cover a 12 at 39. I don't know. At this point, that's a tough one. 66% of the people are on Denver at this moment. Hey, let's turn to some college football that's going to be tomorrow. And because of the Georgia Tech Miami game being moved to Saturday, thanks to Hurricane Irma, we are left with another Sun Belt game in the middle for a weekday. How about that? We get 2 of them this week. Woohoo! Now in this one, this not so marquee matchup of Texas State against Louisiana has had a lot of action, though, at least enough to drive the total down from 58 down to 55. Now, I understand that Texas State only averages 14.5 points per game. With that, though, you have to look at the other factors, and this is where I think the movement of the line is incorrect. The Bobcats' defense is not holding anybody in check, giving up 33.7 points per game. They're going to be going up against Louisiana, the Ragin' Cajuns, and the Ragin' Cajuns are pretty middle of the road for the most part, and Texas State last week played a similar team, which is the Louisiana's main rival, UL Monroe, and they scored 27 points on them. Now, in this case, the Ragin' Cajuns are no better defensively, certainly. They're giving up 37 points, or I think it's more than that. 37 points per game. I think that's what that is. They're giving up. And against 2 similar opponents, one was Monroe, they gave up 56 points, of which 43 was during regulation. And they also played Southeast Louisiana, who is from the FCS, and they gave up 48 points to them. Louisiana's offense, I was actually I misspoke there. Louisiana's offense is scoring 37 points per game. They're giving up far more. So their offense can score. I think this game's going to go over the 55. I'm taking it right now. I'm betting it right after I get done with this video. I think this is the way to go on this one because I don't want the number to go back up. So hey, Doug Upstone, this is everything I have for the NFL for Week 6 right now and college football tomorrow. So we'll be back on Friday to talk about some more college football with a ton more picks. We'll do all that for you. Get after it. As of right now, I'm out.